Good morning, Honors Math. So I'm going to do a short video that I'd like you to watch before you actually do the weekly practice this week because I'm noticing that maybe we're forgetting how to do things. This week's weekly practice focuses on writing equations of lines in slope-intercept form, and it talks about x-intercepts and y-intercepts, and talks about parallel perpendicular. And it seems like when I graded your guys' weekly skills 5 and I graded last week's weekly practice, we're forgetting how to do things, which is not good. There's also 2 systems on there, so I'm going to maybe do a systems problem just to kind of help us review. So here we go. So let's remember, slope-intercept, the formula is y equals mx plus b. And if I say standard form, that's ax plus by equals c. And if it's in standard form, I've taught you that the front can't be negative, you can't have any fractions, it has to be in this order. We've also talked about the shortcut of how to find the slope, and the shortcut for the slope in standard form is negative a over b. Okay, we've also talked about parallel and perpendicular lines. And parallel, what you have to remember is the slopes are the same. So if I give you a line and the slope is 2/3, the slope of the line parallel to it is also going to be 2/3. Perpendicular, however, is a little different. Perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So if a given line the slope is negative 2/3, that's fine, we'll go with that. If I want perpendicular, opposite reciprocal means I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to make it the opposite. Well, if it was negative, it becomes positive. If the original slope is positive, then perpendicular isn't going to end up being negative. All right, so here's an example of what you might see on your review. Okay, so write an equation of a line that is perpendicular to negative 5y plus 2x equals 10 and passes through 2, 9. And on this weekly review, we're putting everything in slope-intercept form. So today, this answer is going to be in slope-intercept form, okay? All right, so perpendicular to negative 5y plus 2x equals 10. So the first thing I have to do is I got to put that in correct standard form. Or I could put it in slope-intercept if I want, but I'm closer to standard form. So standard form is 2x minus 5y equals 10. The slope of this line is negative a over b, which is negative 2 over negative 5, which is 2/5. So that's the slope of that line. Now, if I wanted parallel, the new line would have a slope of 2/5. But I don't. I want perpendicular according to the problem. So opposite reciprocal is negative 5/2. Okay, passes through the line 2, 9. So this is where I use my handy-dandy slope formula. And I plug in my information. So my perpendicular slope is negative 5/2. And I have y minus 9, x minus 2. So when I cross multiply, I get 2y minus 18 equals negative 5x plus 10. I want to go to slope-intercept form, so I'm going to add 18 to both sides, and I'm going to get 2y equals negative 5x plus 28. And then I want to solve for y, so I divide everything by 2, and my final answer is going to be down here. Negative 5/2 x, and then 28 divided by 2 is plus 14. So that would be my answer to this problem if it was on your review. Okay, so what if a problem was like this on your review today? So write an equation in slope-intercept form that has an x-intercept of 10 and a y-intercept of 3. I kind of left out a couple words there, sorry about that. Well, if it has an x-intercept of 10, we need to know what ordered pair is that. So if it crosses the x-axis, now think about this, okay? At 10, what is that point? Well, it's 10, 0. So my x-intercept is 10, 0. Well, then it says it also has a y-intercept of 3. So what that means is I go down here, whoop, no, I go up here and I go crosses at 3. So that would be the point 0, 3. So my 2 points that I'm concerned about are 10, 0 and 0, 3. So the first thing I got to do is I got to find the slope of this line. So y sub 2 minus y sub 1 and x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So the slope of this line is 3 over negative 10. Okay, well, that's the slope, so now I'm ready to write the equation. So I'm going to use my slope formula again. I'm going to do 3 over negative 10, and I can use one of the given points they gave me, either one. I'll go with the 10, 0. So I do y minus 0 and x minus 10. I'm ready to cross multiply. So I get negative 10y, and then negative 10 times 0 is 0. And then 3 times x minus 10 is 3x minus 30. All right, I need to solve for y, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 10, and I get y equals negative 3 tenths x, and then plus 3. And there's my answer. I was kind of surprised at how many of you were having a little difficulty with systems. Systems, first of all, I had some of you tell me on your answer line that there was just one answer, like 10 or 4. Well, guys, a system should have an ordered pair answer, okay? And when we did systems, there's 3 ways to solve them. There's graphing, which we didn't use very often. We didn't like that way. There's elimination. And there's substitution. So I'm going to do 2 problems just to hopefully get these back in your brain a little bit. So here we go. Okay, so here's a system of equations. So if I look at this one, I like elimination. So what I would do is I want to match up these x's or y's so that I can eliminate a variable. So I am going to start with multiplying the top by 4 because I'm going to eliminate my y's, and I'm going to multiply the bottom by 3. So this gives me 8x minus 12y equals 48. And 9x plus 12y equals 3. So I can add these 2 problems together and I get 17x, negative 12y plus 12y is gone, which is what I want, and 48 plus 3 is 51. So if I divide both sides by 17, I get x is 3, but that's what some of you said the answer was. You're not done. You got to find y. So when we find y, I plug x back into one of the original equations. So I take 2 times 3 minus 3y equals 12. 6 minus 3y equals 12. Negative 3y equals 6. So my y is negative 2. The other thing I saw some of you do was you just wrote the answer down however you wanted. We talked about you write them as an ordered pair and you have to put them in an XY order. So if you tell me the answer is negative 2, 3, that's wrong. You're telling me the x is negative 2 and the y is 3. When you look at your work, it's x is 3 and y is negative 2. So the answer to this problem is 3, negative 2. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Okay, how about this system? Well, if I look at this one, I say it's ready for substitution. So, and of course I could do elimination. I could set it up for elimination, but it's nice and set up for substitution. So in the second equation, wherever I see a y, I'm going to plug in negative 2x. So this becomes 4x plus 5 times negative 2x equals negative 10. And I get 4x minus 10x equals negative 10. Then I get negative 10, no, I messed something up here. No, I didn't. So I get negative 6x equals negative 10. If I divide both sides by negative 6, my x is 5/3. Yeah, I have a fraction, but I can handle this. In fact, I'm going to take my x and plug it back in that top equation to find out what would be my y. So if I take y equals negative 2 times 5/3, my answer is y is equal to negative 10/3. And again, some of you came close to this answer. By the way, these problems were on Weekly Skills 5, but you didn't write them right. So the answer is 5/3 negative 10/3. So hopefully this little review video is going to help you with your weekly review that you guys now have to do, which you can find in your module. I'm hoping to see some better scores on those weekly reviews because, again, I'm a little concerned. We need to make sure we're doing quality work on our honors math. All right, have a good day.